Dr. Santosh Dhar Madam. Madam has been engaged in teaching, research, corporate training and consultancy for the last 42 years and has more than 370 publications to her credit. Dr. Dhar had coordinated the implementation of a project on the empowerment of women through enterprise in North India, which was funded by Canadian International Development Agency. Dr. Dhar was conferred National Fellowship for her contributions to HR by the ISTD in 2006-07. A warm welcome to you, ma'am. Dr. T.K. Mandal is also with us for chairing this session. Here is brief introduction of Mandal, sir. Dr. Mandal is an alumnus of IIT Kharagpur and obtained a doctorate from NII Mumbai. Dr. Mandal has published several papers, articles, and featured in interviews in leading print and electronic media. Sir is certified by Thomas International for their psychometric assessment and by Hay Group as an expert in job analysis and job evaluation. Sir has received many awards like Indira Super Achiever Award, Chester Bernard Distinguished Professor Award 2022 by IMRF, to name a few. A warm welcome to you, sir. Now, I would like to request our chairperson, Dr. Santosh Dhar Madam, to give opening remark. Over to you, Madam.
Thank you, Raksha. Esteemed speakers for the session, Mr. Anay Pathik, Mr. Venkatesh Satish, Mr. Chinmay Dave, co-chairperson of the session, Dr. T.K. Mandal, HOIs, HODs of the Constant Institutes of the University, delegates, faculty members, and the students. A warm welcome to this plenary session of AVDHARAN 2022 on the theme Sustainable Computing for Multidisciplinary Realities. Sustainable computing concerns the consumption of computing resources in a way that means it has a net zero impact on the environment, a broad concept that includes energy, ecosystems, pollution, and natural resources. Individual impact on the environment rounds to zero because although some people will change their behavior, most won't. This means that systems like energy, production, transportation, manufacturing, agriculture need to change. The transition to sustainability needs to be done on behalf of the individual, by the system, and at a large scale so individuals can benefit from that change by default. In computing, this means the organizations responsible for manufacturing components, building equipment, writing software, operating data centers, and running networks have responsibility for achieving sustainability. Sustainability strategies in computing tend to focus on energy and the transition to renewables, the use stage. This is important, but not the only factor. For instance, creating energy-aware software and infrastructures call for the much more explicit and pervasive inclusion of contextual information in design decision-making. The context involves planning for known changes, adapting to unknown ones, and including systemic perspectives like different sectors, such as energy and ICT sectors, stakeholders such as priorities, investment, and constraints of organizations, and systems such as the role of data centers for hyperscaling and municipalities for micro clouds and energy ecosystems in built environments. For instance, blockchains are increasingly used to establish electronic contracts, such as those in finance transactions, replacement parts, delivery in industry, aerospace, medical treatment, or so on. Yet their energy hunger is growing in parallel. The major critique of any distributed ledger technology is its waste of energy in maintaining and steadily growing transactions. Again, another example, we have Bitcoin currency gets more value primarily because it needs more computer power, which wastes energy. Blocks are validated using the proof of work riddle. Only the first pair to solve it is rewarded, which has created a race for IT power to solve the riddles. Miners build clusters of specialized optimized hardware. These clusters require power to operate and to cool down. To move toward an energy efficient cloud, practitioners must embed strategies for awareness creation for measuring, monitoring, and visualizing the energy footprint of the software they deliver. The software energy consumption must be measured, estimated, and predicted at all levels. Continuously demanding, installing, and using the latest advertised, highest performing hardware highly contributes to both e-waste and energy consumption. Ecological transformation is the next big wave of innovation after digital transformation. Every business will evolve towards ecological behavior. Investors are currently changing behaviors towards financing based on ecology and sustainability. They do that not only for ethical reasons, but simply because the economic tasks of traditional business are too high. Sustainable computing, therefore, involves not just renewable energy, developing policies around the right to repair and recycling of materials through a circular economy, energy and efficiency of hardware and software, promoting good governance of resources, transparency, and consistent reporting. Today, we have with us experts of the area. Let us listen to them and enjoy what they have to share with us. Thank you so much. Over to Raksha Chopra.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Today we have three distinguished speakers with us to share their valuable thoughts. Our first speaker is Mr. Anay Pathak, Advisory Consultant, CTO Ambassador, Dell Technologies. Mr. Anay Pathak is having more than 15 years of experience and has worked with some of the large enterprise organizations as trusted advisory consultant. Sir has multiple industry certifications and remarkable experience in cloud virtualization, public cloud, data security and management, artificial intelligence, and cyber resilience. Mr. Anay has many IEEE publications in his account and has taken part in various technical conferences across the world. Mr. Anay has written technology blogs and delivered multiple workshops in industry and forum like Future of AI, Cloud Containers, Technology Trends, Cyber Attacks, Employability Skills, to name a few. On behalf of SEEE fraternity, a warm welcome to you, sir. Sir is going to deliver knowledge on the topic Industry 4.0 Digital Transformation. Now, may I request to Mr. Anay Pathak to share his knowledge with us. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Raksha ma'am. Thank you so much, Dr. Santosh, for the warm welcome. I think it's my pleasure to be here virtually in this session, and I hope we can do it in person sometime soon, because I was traveling the entire week, and while I meet people, I feel that nothing can beat in-person meetings in general, right? So we basically talk about technology, we talk about employability skills, we talk about what is the jobs of future, right? In next 30-35 minutes, you will understand how technology is evolving, where are we heading, what are some of the skill sets which are important. But then you'll also get to know, I would say, that sometimes there is a gap between, sometimes or most of the times I would say, there's a gap between what is being taught in the education system versus what industries are looking at, right? So in general, we'll have to understand where are we heading, what is the technology trends in the market, and in case we can even get some of the keywords out of it, right? It would be really good, because we don't expect that you will become master of technology after going to the 30-minute session, but at least you will know what is going in the market for sure, right? So 7 Ds of new data decade is disease. We were not aware of it. We were unprepared. Something which came in this data decade. And when I say data decade, it is 2020 to 2030, right? These 10 years, we call it as data decade. There are a lot of deals, political deals happening. There's debt deficit. You have democratic elections. Diversity and inclusion is taking a lot of, I would say, priority when it comes to this data decade. Decarbonization is what Dr. Santosh was talking about, right? So whenever we talk technology, how we can make it green, right? Technology should also be green, which means how we can save power, cooling, energy consumption. When we talk about technology and digital transformation is the seventh D of this data decade, right? So digital transformation is everywhere. We are in a connected world just because, I mean, we all believe that we have to go through this cycle of digital transformation. Due to the first D, which is disease, digital transformation is accelerated. Everyone wants to be connected because we as technology professionals, or you as professors or students, were not prepared for what has happened. Everything suddenly became digital. Everything is in a connected world. You have to run one virtual online classes. You have to run courses. I'm not sure. Just ping me on chat how effective was online classes, right? But again, we all have to do and just go with the flow of how the new ecosystem is, right? So the digital transformation, or before we even go to digital transformation, right? Let's understand what industrial revolution is. We are in 4.0 and maybe starting 5.0, but if I may ask, probably, and yeah, this is why I love in-person sessions. Any one of you is aware of industrial revolution? Yes, no, maybe. I'll look at the chat box if I can. But any thoughts? Anyone, if you, any of you have heard about digital industrial revolution? Yes, no. Maybe you can say, unmute yourself, or maybe on the chat you can just say yes or no. Response doesn't mean anything, right? So I have to know before I start. There's no point I go through the session and yeah. So someone has to say something. Yes, yes, okay. So there are few yeses. Thank you so much. So I think when you go through these sessions, right, industrial revolution, digital transformation, please make yourself aware of it, right? Like we do LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. Just check the topic of the session which is happening. Do Google 15 minutes and be prepared. That is where you'll be able to ask the right questions, right? If you just come in, I mean, wake up one day, go for a session for digital transformation, it's a bit of an overkill, right? It's so much to absorb, right? So always it is better if you, whatever, I mean, to all the speakers, right, whosoever is coming, if you look at their topic and maybe do some brainstorming around the topic, that really helps in asking the right question. But I think we started in 1784, where it was more of a mechanical production. Everything was manual with water, steam, power, and so on. 2.0 came in 1870, where we thought of mass production, right? So how we can use electrical energy to create assembly lines and make it a mass production, make it much more effective when it comes to automating, and that is automation version 1. 3.0 came in when we started using electronics. So how can we use electronics, IT, software, computing to automate industrial Ethernet or minimum viable task at that point in time? Because I'll tell you why. The cost of compute was really high. So even to use electronics, you have to pay a lot of cost. And here we are at the end of 4.0, beginning 5.0, where we talk about IoT devices. And again, in the chat, I want to know if you know what is IoT devices and cloud technology to automate everything we are trying, right? And when we say everything, whatever can be automated. So it is, let's say, basic level 1, level 2, level 3 tasks. But don't ever think that machine will take human jobs. While you automate everything, you basically have technology to make these machines more intelligent. In the end, you will also need someone to control these machines, right? So the jobs will stay. It's just, thank you, Shruti. Internet of Things, very nice. So Internet of Things and cloud, the technology we are in, right? we are evolving as an organization just to make sure that we use technology, but in the best possible way. Again, don't ever think that if you do everything with machines, what will happen to future of jobs? I'll come to future of jobs in a second, but this is why it is important to understand why everything is happening now, right? So if I show you this picture on the left hand side, if you see the cost of compute, which means to buy processor, CPU, RAM, storage, whatever, right, is required for computing the data, was really high in early 50s, right? And the amount of data was also lesser. So while you pay the high cost, the data which you can process is lesser. So you can't get meaningful result out of it. Versus now, the cost of compute is going down. I'm pretty sure some of us would have seen floppy disks or CD drives and so on, right? So how costly was it to buy a floppy or a CD back in 90s versus where we are, where we just look at 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte, 5 terabyte hard disk. And that's like 2 terabyte is 5,000 rupees or something. It was roughly 50,000, right? So this is where the cost of compute is going down, whereas the amount of data is increasing. That is why we call it as data decay, right? So amount of data is exponentially increasing, which means I have more data to process. I have data to drive meaningful results out of it. I can automate, I can make machines work wherever I can, but the investment of doing it is lesser because I have to buy lesser, maybe I have to buy a compute at a lesser price, if I put it in the right word, because the amount of compute required is very, very high. I mean, you need a lot of storage or CPUs or memory and so on to process the data, but the cost is going down, which is a good sign. And that's where we are in a dawn of digital era. So as we have our solar system, consider sun as the data source, which is powering this universe, right? So while sun as a data source is powering this universe, we have these planets being converted into data analytics, data protection, data search, data governance, security, privacy, and so on, right? So this is your digital universe or a galaxy where data is powering the universe, but you need to make sure you apply protection policies, search policies. You are able to monetize the data, manage the data, apply governance and security. I'm sure Shubham would have taken some session around security yesterday, and it would have been good, right? So while I was not there yesterday, I could sync up with him to just check, right? How do we have the security in the ecosystem when it comes to the digital ecosystem? Privacy of data and sustainability, right? So all of this becomes part of the digital ecosystem. And if you can take maybe 3 key learnings from this session, one is this one, right? So if you are into IoT or cloud, 5G, blockchain, I think you are doing good and you're aligned to what industry is looking at. So industry is looking at these some technology jargons, if I may call it, right? But then again, if you like cloud or if you like 5G, Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, blockchain, or quantum computing, just do basic research, right? Which means go again, Google, right? It tells you a lot of things. So Google about these technology trends, technology topics. You will get to know at least the basics of it. When we go to college for an interview, what we look at, do you even know basics of these technology? We don't want you to be a coder or a scripter or someone very good in Python doing everything end to end, right? I mean, we don't want it at all. We would like to understand whether you are able to do basic talk on cloud, on blockchain, on quantum computing, or artificial intelligence side of it, right? So this is where these sessions are fruitful, right? If you are focusing on any of these technology, make sure that you go through the level 1 and level 2, right? As we browse Facebook or Instagram or whatever, right? Social medias. I think there should be 30 minutes of time going into any of these technology topics. Once you start reading more, you'll find that in cloud we have Amazon, Microsoft, Google, and maybe I'll learn about Amazon more, maybe Google less, and so on, right? So it is important for you to understand all of these to a level so that you can drill down into it. And once you drill down, it will become much more relevant to you. And whenever there is a company visiting the campus, probably you'll be able to answer a lot of questions around it, right? So these are technology disruptions which are happening. If you look at these disruptions, you have users, which are people today, but probably it will be machine or artificial intelligence enabled bots. Your user experience will change completely from website to augmented reality, virtual reality, and all of these are technology terms which exist. Your applications, which is Java, .NET, C++, would that has changed, right? We have Python, which is being used a lot now, but then you will move to a microservices-based architecture. You will have API-driven architecture and so on. Your data management will change from relational databases to in-memory databases or a different architecture altogether. Probably you look at single cloud, and cloud is just an operating model which exists in digital transformation. You might look at multi-cloud, mega cloud, and so on, right? So I'll not go through all of these, but this is how technology is changing. And by 2030, I think the partnership between human and machine will become deeper, richer, and immersive. We call it as partnership. Again, no one is taking over each other. It's just that the partnership becomes stronger, and we will still need people to do the job. But if you look at 2030, right, consider digital transformation as the major driver. You talk about 125 billion devices or objects which will be connected to the internet. More than 50% of the car will be driverless. Decoding a human genome, which is such a complex process, will cost just $1 and will take 94 seconds to do it, right? And the artificial intelligence will be cognitive intelligence, and we working on neural networks and so on to take it forward. But think about challans for driverless car, right? You have traffic challans, speeding signals, and so on, right? But how would you generate challan for a machine if they have done a mistake, because driverless car doesn't have a driver? So what I'm trying to say is, while technology is evolving, while there are a lot of change happening, the job market will change drastically. And if you look at this, again, takeaway number 2. So takeaway 1 was technology. Takeaway 2 is 85% of jobs which will be available in next 8 years are still not invented. Think about it. Whatever we are doing, in 2030, the kind of skill set which will be required, the job description which will be required is still to be invented, which means we should be a good learner. We should adapt to technology, learn technology, and make sure that we are able to attach to the jobs which will be present, which will come to us in 2030 and so on, right? So the jobs might be a personal medical interpreter, or an autonomous transportation specialist, or a self-driving car mechanic, right? Doesn't exist as of today, because you don't have all of this, right? And then if you also look at skills on the right-hand side of this chart, 35% of the skills which are really important now, which is as of today, right, will change in 5 years. So what you think is most important, which can help you get job and it is really relevant, it will change to some other skill, which can be an entrepreneurial mindset or personal brand cultivation to in the moment learning. You have, as I said, you have to be a fast learner to adopt to this rapid change in technology which is happening. While we don't know what is in store in terms of jobs and skills in the future, we will have to adapt to it just to make sure that we get good jobs and we align to the skills of future, right? So if you look at digital transformation, I mean, online shopping, robot deliveries, in a connected world, right? Everything is happening. So you are in a connected world. You can order everything and anything sitting at home now. And you can also look at robot deliveries, which is happening very well in US, where a robot is able to deliver pizza or whatever you need, right? I think digital currency is, we all know, right? We are in a world where everything is contactless now, but work from home, learn from home is something which has come in, right? So when it comes to work from home, I'm sitting here somewhere in Delhi with a virtual background talking to you, right? Similarly, you are learning, but think of technologies which are coming behind it, right? So you have cloud when you work from home. You have this Zoom, which is a work collaboration tool. You have internet, which is 5G, and then these virtual backgrounds to preserve the privacy of data and so on, right? So while work from home looks simple, you also need to make sure, while so many people are connected, you have right security in place, right technology in place when we all work from home. And this is a learning curve. We were not prepared to do something like this. We never expected that something like this will happen. Even at the college level, it is out of syllabus, as I said, right? So this was not in the syllabus. We'll have to adapt to it, right? This just came and we adapted to it. We started work from home, learn from home, but keeping the technological forces. Now, distance learning is what is basically learn from home, but then you need to make sure that you are focusing on the technology pillars around virtual reality, augmented reality, artificial intelligence, and so on when it is distance learning. Distance learning gives me a chance to do a bachelor's or a master's from a university in London, which is so good, right? Because I'm sitting in India, I can do bachelor's or master's from a university in London. Again, with virtual reality, augmented reality, I'll have those glasses where I would get an experience as if I am sitting in a classroom, performing a lab test, or basically sitting with student or talking to my professor directly, right? But then, as I said, nothing can beat in-person connection, right? So when you are sitting with someone in person versus in augmented reality, it's a lot of difference. But these AR, VR will enable you to be closer to as if you are sitting in a university in London doing your bachelor's or master. And the cost will be much lesser. You don't have to spend a lot of money because you are doing it as a distance learning program. So it's a barter system between whether you want to attend this course in person or do a distance learning with technology in place. Telehealth, all of you would be aware of Fitbit and Apple Watch and whatever, Boat Watch and so on. Even I have one, right? So basically you track steps, calories, heart rate, and so on. But then it goes to an app on my phone and I just keep it on my phone. With these wearables or IoT devices, we're talking about these vitals going to your family doctor. So you'll be assigned a family doctor who will be monitoring these vitals on a weekly basis. And then there will be chatbots which will tell you, we have observed there's something wrong at this particular time. At least based on initial systems, can you go through certain tests and so on, right? So basically monitoring someone without knowing that he is being monitored, suggesting something by chatbot based on the knowledge which is being gathered, and then making sure how we can provide diagnostic based on the symptoms identified. So if you go to a doctor, you don't have to tell, I am feeling sick, because doctor already know that you are sick. Based on the vitals, he also knows what is the problem, where is the problem, if temperature levels is high or the other parameter is high or low. And from there, it is a much effective health prescription than anything else, right? Online entertainment, we all know. I mean, ping me what you're watching on Netflix or Amazon Prime or whatever, right? I have watched a lot of online entertainment in last 3 years and so, right? All of this involves cloud and 5G. So whenever you do something in a connected world, think about technology which is empowering it, because in the end, that will help you relate a lot. And basically cloud, if there's no cloud, which is place to process data, store data, or if there is no 5G, which is internet, I think you'll not be able to enjoy a lot of it, right? So think about technology in supply chain. Again, we have a lot of transformation in supply chain with robots doing a part of supply chain, because supply chain needs a lot of human always. But now we have robots doing the supply chain, moving the containers around, doing the barcode scan. Every container has a GPS tracker on it and so on, so that you can redefine supply chain in the connected world. 3D printing is something very interesting. Look at it if you've not seen it. So 3D printing is basically you can print anything at your home which you like. So I like a very good model or an art or an architecture. I would be able to print it at home, which gives me the flexibility to print anything at home. But then when it comes to 3D printing, you also have to look at IP, legal laws, and so on, right? So if you printed something which is patented or there is a trademark against that, it doesn't go very well legally, right? Because you can't just create a copy of everything. But in theory, 3D printing will be able to print anything and everything at your home the way you want to, right? Robot and drone deliveries, again, IoT, internet, cloud coming into picture. There's a lot happening. There is an Amazon Go store in US. I think they're coming in India as well, where they talk about having a store where you don't need anyone, right? You just go in, add the item in your cart, and basically when you pick it up and put it in your basket, it gets added to your cart automatically. The weight is also done if you're buying vegetables, groceries, whatever, right? And then you just check out. When you check out, you basically get a message to make payment either, or it is automatically charged to your credit card, because everything which you have picked up from the store is added to your card. When you go out of the store, your card is basically charged against your credit card, and you're good, right? There's no manual intervention, no line for billing, no one for weighing the goods, no one for what you're buying, what you're not buying, looking at it, right? It's a purely automated store which Amazon has come in. 5G, I talked about it. I mean, nothing can work. This Zoom session can also not work, right? If there is no internet and network. So 5G again plays a really important role. I think there is 5G launching in India. We're talking about really high speed. I have seen 5G once in US a couple of years back when I was there. And we talk about speeds of 1.3 Gbps over mobile data, right? So if you get 1.3 Gbps, gigabits per second, right? It's fast. Over mobile data, your apps will reduce a lot, right? So as of now, I might have to download WhatsApp or Facebook or Instagram, whatever it is. With such a fast internet, you just need a shortcut, because when you click that app, everything can be downloaded from the internet there and then. That's the power of 5G and fast connectivity. You will not even know, right? So the digital readiness is coming in. We all are getting more digital ready. But before I move towards the last slide of maybe a couple of slides of my session, right? What types of professionals are needed in the industry? So we need people with attitude and ability or aptitude to, or openness, I would say, to learn new technical and business skills, right? So all of us has to go to rapid trials, rapid learning, and rapid commitments, because we don't know what job will come in 2030, how machines and human partnership will evolve, right? So we need professionals who can create cheaper, faster, and better business process. We need to have high tolerance for ambiguity. I have worked on Java or C++ or whatever, right? I am a cloud expert, and suddenly I am being asked to work on blockchain or 5G. I can't say no. You should have high tolerance to learn the new technology and adapt to that evolving world, because that's what your job demands. And last but not the least, build your personal brand, right? Search for Anay Pathak on LinkedIn. Feel free to connect with me. I can guide you how to build your personal brand. But in the end, if I come to your college or someone else comes to your college, why should I hire Mr. X and not Mr. Y, right? It's just because one is that the person is able to talk about technology, trends, and so on. But the other is what brand is he carrying? What is the uniqueness in a person which is not there in the other person, right? So that's where building your brand is really, really important. So look at these skills like your mindset, curiosity, everything, right? You have to be curious. Your leadership skills, how do you innovate? How do you work as one team, right? But in the end, have fun, right? You should have, or you must be able to change. And you are the one who will bring this change that you wish to see in this world. So you can't say that I want a sustainable world, I want industry or computing or green IT as we call it, or green softwares as we call it, right? If you don't work towards it. So while we talk about technology, all of it has to align to sustainability initiatives, carbon reduction, and so on, just to make sure that we are able to sustain in this technological world and just not developing technology, right? So before I end, I think let me stop share and share the audio, because this is a very interesting video where we talk about digital twin, okay? And can someone tell me if the audio is visible? Oh, sorry, audio is audible.
I think the future.
Can you hear the audio? Yes, no? Maybe someone can tell so that I can play.
Yes, we can.
Thank you.
Of AI is going to make health and wellness and well-being very personalized, very precise, predictable, preventable, and participatory. Through deep learning and artificial intelligence, we'll be able to look at every activity in our body, the microbiome, genes, epigenetics, the brain, and how our emotions and our everyday experiences of life create what we call the experience of the body. So I see AI and deep learning and immersive augmented reality as the way to reinvent our body and our experience of the world. I think that
So Dr. Deepak Chopra is the father of AI, as we call it. He has search for Dr. Deepak Chopra. Okay, a lot of medical experience. He has a lot of consultative experience when it comes to artificial intelligence. But what he has done is he's created his digital clone, right? So now with his digital clone, one, that the digital clone is with him and learning from him. But then this digital clone also have access to internet, which means it can search a lot more than a human brain at one point in time. So what Dr. Deepak is doing is basically working with his clone to train. And when Dr. Deepak is not there in this world, the clone will still exist. And it might be more smarter than Dr. Deepak himself, because he has learned from the man himself. And then he's also learning a lot from the internet, right? So if you look at his digital clone, before I end. So I think this is where I'll end, right? Just looking at the thoughts of where the digital technology is going, where people are moving when it comes to digital transformation, and everything is happening for human good, right? So we all have to look at technology. We all have to look at sustainability and how we can create sustainable future, better human and machine partnership. But then again, looking into a lot of things which are happening in this world and how connected they are. Again, security or monetization or protection or management of data will play an important role. And yeah, I mean, the third key takeaway from this session should be if you are able to pay attention, probably learn about any of these technology on a very, very basic level. We don't want you to be expert, but just try to learn on a very basic level. So that's where I am. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for enlightening us important factors responsible for digital transformation. It was really a great learning session for us. Audience is requested to type question answers. If they have any query, then they can write in the chat box. At the end, we can definitely going to share with the speakers. Our next speaker is Mr. Venkata Satish Gutullaji, Director Security at Rediff.com, India Limited, Mumbai. Mr. Venkata has 21 years of experience in information technology and has been part of the core Rediff team for 16 years. Sir is heading information security in Rediff.com, playing a crucial role in implementing and practicing information security. He also looks after data privacy, governance, risk, and compliance. Sir is a certified information security manager, certified information system auditor, certified data privacy solution engineer, and certified data protection professional. Sir is frequently invited as eminent speaker in many national and international conferences in the area of cybersecurity. Sir has received many awards like Cisco Platform 100, India's Top IT Security Influencer and Community Contributor Award, Cisco of the Year Award, to name a few. On behalf of SBBB fraternity, a warm welcome to you, sir. Sir is going to share his knowledge on the sustainable cyber security and awareness in the age of sustainable computing. May I request to Mr. Venkata to share his knowledge with us. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Raksha, for that warm welcome, and thank you, Dr. Santosh, for that introduction. And that was a great topic you started with, and it is very helpful. So you talked about virtual reality and also learning in virtual reality. I hope the virtual reality will be in the conferences also, because when we are doing a webinar, we do not get the feedback from the audience. We don't know how they are reacting. So just last week, after 2 years, I did a physical event, and there were good reactions. So I can crack jokes on them, I can make them laugh, and then I can see how they're responding to what I'm talking about. So yes, if you are telling that the virtual reality will be the future, then that would be great. So now I'll be talking about the topic sustainable cybersecurity and awareness in the age of sustainable computing. So for last 2 days, we were hearing what is sustainable computing. Sustainability means different to different people, different things. So the most popular what we heard in these last 2 days is it can be computing with a zero impact on the environment, and we can have where we can use include the energy ecosystems, and we can keep the pollution to the level, and we can use the natural resources. So that is what we have been hearing, what is sustainable computing. For this talk, what we'll do is we'll consider sustaining computing as the availability of the required computing power throughout the life cycle of the program or application with minimal resource utilization cost. So it's nothing different from what we had discussed. It's only the same, and what I am telling is it is the availability of the computing throughout the life cycle, and it is not like it should be going down, or it is not available when we are doing this. So when we are talking about sustainable computing, what comes in our mind is cloud computing. So cloud computing is a perfect representation of sustainable computing. So, all the resources are being shared across tenants, and there's no wastage of any CPU power or memory. So everything is shared. And if you see, if there is any bigger machine which is spawned, it is equally divided, or it is shared between the tenants, and it is used. So you see there is no wastage of any resource over there. So it is being used throughout that thing. So that's why cloud computing is a perfect representation of sustainable computing. And more and more companies and even cyber criminals are moving to cloud computing. Okay, so the reason why growth is simple, because cloud computing gives greater flexibility and functionality options to companies. So as you know, I can switch on a computing at any time I want, and I can stop the computing at any point of time. So instance, yes, I can spawn the instance at any time. I can stop the instance at any time, and I can pay only for the resource what I've used. So if I use the CPU resource for 1 hour, I'll be paying for only 1 hour. I'll not be paying for the entire this thing. So whatever you use, you pay for that thing. So that is why it is very easy and it is very cheaper for the companies to go for the cloud computing. And also now here we are not using anything which extra, and not wasting the resources, and also keeping the environment safe from pollutions and all. So as you can see, it's a pay-per-use, a pay-per-play model, means that they can only benefit from the utility building. Now, let's talk about cyber computing and cybercrime. So now I was spoken about how companies are taking advantage of cloud computing. Now here, cyber criminals are also going into cloud computing, because there are various types of attacks they can launch using cloud computing where there is a sustainable computing power. So number one is cryptojacking. So let me first make you understand what is cryptojacking. Cryptojacking is nothing but minting a cryptocurrency. So in cryptocurrency, what you do is you mine the currency. And when you're mining, there is a lot of CPU and maybe GPU and memory utilization is done. And due to cloud computing and sustainable computing, there is a lot of computing power available. And companies, as I told you, they are spawning up instances on cloud. And here the issue is when people are going into cloud, they think that, okay, when I'm going into cloud, everything is safe and secure. There is no need for me to make any take any efforts in keeping my data or keeping my infrastructure safe. So that is one of the biggest mistakes what companies are doing. So here, what is the issue is there is something called as a shared responsibility model in cloud computing. So in shared responsibility model, the security and all the responsibilities are shared between the cloud computing provider and the companies. Okay, so the cloud provider may be responsible for the security of the physical infrastructure. So they will make sure that no one is allowed to go and touch the computer or the server which is co-located in their data center. But it is up to you to make sure that how one installs the applications or one puts the applications on the server, and what all the steps they need to take to make it secure. Okay, so because of this thing, not many people are aware of a shared responsibility model. They think, okay, if I'm going into cloud, security is inherent to cloud. And this is a big mistake what they are doing, and not secure. So the cyber criminals are taking advantage of this thing, and what they are doing is they are simply putting crypto mining software on the servers, and they are utilizing the CPU power, memory, GPU, what you are paying for, and they are minting money and making money after that. So this is called as cryptojacking. And as I told you, it is up to the persons or the company who is spawning, who are taking services from the cloud computing, to make sure that they also put their effort to make the servers or the data, everything secure. Otherwise, we can see attacks like cryptojacking. Another type of attack is DDoS. What is DDoS? DDoS is distributed denial of service attack. So let me explain you more clearly. So there is a website, and say that website is capable of taking, say, 100 requests per second. And if it is getting any more requests, if it is getting 101 or 110 requests per second, the server will not function properly, and it will not serve, and it may go into hang state, and it doesn't give any information out. So here the cyber criminals, what they do is they try to target some companies. So there are activists or someone who want to stop a service from functioning, say some website from functioning. So what they do is they take advantage of this cloud, what we call as zombies. So where there is a malware which is being installed in all laptops, or which are installed on these cloud machines. Okay, so why do we call it as zombies? Is it is installed, the malware is installed, but the malware is not doing anything. It is just waiting for the command from something called as a CNC server. CNC is command and control server. So there's a centralized server, and all these zombies connect to the centralized server and ask what they want to do. So they can go and tell Aka, mere ko kya karne ka hai? What should I do? And CNC server says, okay, nothing. There's nothing you can do as of now. Please wait for my command. And now someone buys this DDoS program, and he wants to shut down one particular service, or he wants to deny service to other people. So he puts what is the website name, and he gives the instruction. And when the zombies connect to the CNC server, it tells, okay, you need to attack this IP address, or you need to attack this website with as much of data as possible. So now these zombies are all requesting, sending requests to this one particular server at the same time, simultaneously. So because of the number of instances or requests which are coming in, and it is not able to take, the server is overwhelmed by the request, and it stops working, and the service is denied. So whenever some good person or a genuine person is going and trying to get the service of the website, is denied the service because the service is not working properly. So this is called as a DDoS attack. And another one is called as phishing attack. So phishing scam is, many of you have read that in Maharashtra, many people have received SMS that if they do not pay so-and-so money by so-and-so time, their power will be disconnected. So, and there's a link URL to that site, and many people have gone, they clicked on the link, they landed on the server, they made the payment, only to find out that it's a fake site. Okay, so phishing is like tricking someone and you are impersonating as someone. So here the scamsters impersonated as electrical company, and they hosted this phishing page. Okay, this is called as a phishing page, and they hosted in some cloud computing environment, and they sent out the messages. And you know phishing, right? I will come to something else. Phishing, FISHING. Phishing is nothing but you put a bait into the water, and you wait and see, okay, some fish comes and takes the bait, right? So phishing is also similar to that. You send this message to thousands of people, and you wait, someone catches the bait. And here, unfortunately, in the electricity payment scam, there were many people who took the bait, they made the payment, and they lost lakhs of rupees. And fortunately, our cyber cell people, they they were able to recover money from for some of the persons victims, but many they are not able to recover. So this is called as phishing attack. Now we'll come to spear phishing attack. Now earlier I was talking about phishing, phishing with RF, where you just put a bait and you wait for the fish to come and take the bait. But here in spear phishing, in spear phishing with an F, where a person takes a spear and he targets which fish to catch, and he throws the spear to the fish and he catches the fish. So here he knows which fish he has to catch. So in the spear phishing also attack, these people know who is the victim. Okay, so they do a lot of background check on the victim, and then they identify, okay, here is the person who I want to target to, and they send this personalized mail impersonating as someone and telling them, okay, hey, I know your password, or I know what you have done, okay, or I know that this is the browser history, what you have done, you have been doing some bad things. So you pay me some cryptocurrency, and then I will not share these things with others, or else I will put this thing online. So the impact is very more than phishing. People people panic, and then they make money, pay money, but actually this person may not have anything on him. So victims lose money in this fashion. So this is spear phishing attack. And coming to different kind of cybercrime is artificial intelligence and election bias. So I think a couple of years ago, we knew that in a particular country, in social media, they biased the election voters in electing a particular party. Okay, so they used artificial intelligence, and then they brainwashed the voters and sending them feeds related to that bias, making the voters think, okay, this is a good party and we need to vote for them. And this exactly happened. So they used sustainable computing, they used artificial intelligence very well, and they made bias, and a particular party won the elections. Another one is a ransomware attack. So you know what is ransom? So ransom is something we pay to get something back. So for example, if a child is abducted and they ask for a ransom, so we pay the money and get the child back. So in cyber space, ransomware attacks is where they take your files, or they encrypt your files, documents which are very useful to you, and they ask, okay, pay me so much money, and then I will give you a key to decrypt those files, or else you will not be able to use those files. So here also many people paid money, and some people got successfully the key and they were able to decrypt it, but many did not, could not decrypt that files, and they lost their money, and also they lost those files. Another attack is when we are talking about cloud computing, and I was talking about multiple tenants who are sharing the same physical infrastructure. So one problem is when shared physical infrastructure is shared, similar. So there can be issues like memory leakage. Okay, so I can get to the another tenant's memory, and I can read what is there in the memory. So there can be a very confidential information in that memory. So I can read. So a cyber criminal can read that memory. So this is one of the attacks in the cyber cloud computing. And one of the biggest other attacks is brute force and dictionary attacks. So because of the computing, so the power, one can use brute force method to send a lot of attacks to a particular website and to guess the password. So if that's why we ask people not to have a simple password. So because it is very easily guessable. So in brute force, those passwords are sent to the server, and the server may tell, okay, you are logged in. So if the password is not simple, but it's a complex password, which is very difficult to guess, and it will take a lot of time for the program to brute force, and maybe in that time the server may not allow the brute force to continue. So that's why whenever we are setting passwords, we need to make sure that we use different passwords for in different websites, and also we need to keep complex passwords. So till now we have, I was talking about cloud computing and cybercrime. Now let's talk about how this sustainable computing can help us in cybersecurity and awareness. So as all you know that there's a tenant called pillar in information technology and cybersecurity, that is PPT. We call it as PPT. It's a people, process, and technology. So these are the three things which is a pillar for technology and cybersecurity. But you know, people is the weakest link. People or the human factor is the weakest link in this thing. So hence there's a lot of emphasis on awareness training. So what in cybersecurity, what many companies or what many people tell is, we need to make awareness training to the people to make sure that they don't fall victims to the type of scams what I have spoke about. So earlier, when I spoke about, there are a lot of scams where people are falling victims directly, like phishing scam, spear phishing scam, brute force.
He's lost his connection. I think. Raksha madam is lost connection. You're also not audible.
रक्षा मैम वेंकटा सर को कॉल कर लीजिए.
Raksha ma'am, your voice is not audible.
Now is it audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Jigyasu sir.
आपके पास वेंकटा सर का नंबर है मैडम?
नहीं है सर.
चलिए ठीक है, मैं कॉल करता हूँ.
जी.
Sir has joined.
I apologize. There's some issue with the internet. Am I audible?
Yes sir, you are
Yes.
audible.
Okay, I'm sharing my screen again. And I apologize again. This has never happened. Okay, so I'm in this screen where I'm talking about the awareness where companies and everyone is thinking that human beings should be trained in cybersecurity. But you know, our human brain has limited resources and energy to expand on the training activity. And moreover, not everyone has the same technical knowledge. So this means that whatever training we impart to them on about cybersecurity and awareness, some people may take it properly, but many may not take it properly because, as I told, human brain is limited or it has limited resources and energy, and not many people can grasp. And many people may not have the technical knowledge to grasp what the technical information being taught to them about this thing. So here comes sustainable computing to the rescue of cybersecurity and awareness, where we need to take advantage of machine learning and sustainable computing. So we have to build applications which understand the patterns and learn the human behavior. So with machine learning, we need to understand the human behavior and flag abnormalities and anomalies in the routine and daily pattern. Say, for example, I know there's a client for a bank who every week in one day he makes a withdrawal of X amount of money, but in 1 month, on the day he does not withdraw that money, but he withdraws more money on that day. So this is an anomaly. He's not following the pattern. So here we need to take help of machine learning to find the patterns and see, okay, here is a deviation from what he is doing routinely, and then we need to flag it, and then we need to stop the fraud, because it can be someone who got hold of his login details or his card and who was withdrawing money. And furthermore, we can use artificial intelligence, deep learning, to build models that predict and transform from reactive to predictive models. So the model what I've told earlier is a reactive. So we are saying that this person is doing something after it, but now we need to predict, okay, this time he will do this thing. Now, if he's not doing something, then there is some issue. So thereby we need to reduce the burdens on humans by using this artificial intelligence and machine learning. And also there are some things in usage of blockchain. So we can use a blockchain in area of say land registration or some registration to prevent unauthorized modifications. So we know that there are a lot of cases where people are occupying land of others. I think some call it as kabza, and there's long court case pending where both parties will try to show that their document is original. But if we use blockchain method, because it's a distributed ledger system, all the ledgers are having whatever the modification is done, and we know if there is any modification done, who did the modification, and we can tell, okay, this particular document is fake and this particular document is not fake. I'm sorry. And another use of this sustainable computing is IoT sensors, where we have sensors around a particular, say, a company, and these sensors keep track of the client in real time, and it can prevent impersonation of anyone who is impersonating and trying to enter the company. So we know, okay, this particular X person is here, but if someone is trying to enter, we know, okay, he's impersonating, because we exactly know where X is. So hence, sustainable computing can help prevent cyber crimes. And for this thing, as Mr. Ane already told, there are a lot of job opportunities out there in the market. So not just for Web 3.0 but in the cybersecurity field also, as I told you, there are many solutions what I have given, and to build these things, there are a lot of job opportunities are there in the market. And I guess, and I encourage everyone to see cybersecurity as one of their interesting topic, and to pursue, because it is a very interesting topic and it is very challenging to solve any issue over here. So thank you very much. This is the end of my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for enlightening us about the different kind of attacks which are going on nowadays, and how can we overcome from the attack, what kind of precautions should be taken care by the victims as well as from the normal users when they are involved into IT meetings or related to the IT, whatever they are executing, they are supposed to be very much aware and they should take precautions. Thank you very much, sir, for enlightening about these all. Audience is requested to type their queries in the question answer box and chat box. Maximum query shall be answered as per the availability of time. Our next speaker is Mr. Chinmay Dave, Head Mobile Center of Excellence, TCS. Mr. Chinmay is certified agile leader with 11 years of experience in global IT services and product management. Currently leading the enterprise mobile apps global transformation initiative for 600K plus TCS associates. Acquired global client exposure for Asia, Europe, and America. Sir has versatile experience like as a product and program manager. Sir is involved as agile coach, driving government, compliance and learning initiative to name a few. In business consultancy and analysis, converting layman language into workable action items and quality enterprise solutions. On behalf of SVV fraternity, a warm welcome to you, sir. Sir is going to share his knowledge on the topic sustainable computing for Web 3.0 world. Now, may I request Mr. Chinmay to share his knowledge with us? Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thanks. Okay, am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay, great. I think there is some setting in Zoom. Right. And my screen is visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So first of all, thanks a lot. Really interesting topic. All the students who are attending this conference, 2-day conference. I seriously feel jealous that the college is organizing topics like these, which are very relevant, which are highly talked about within the industry. And from top to bottom, the top colleges, universities, the top organizations in the world, they are working on computational sustainability and sustainability in general. I think that will be the theme of this particular decade for the next 10 years. Okay. uh, Amay or Anay, I think when he was talking about so many different things, AR, VR, okay, I could definitely relate to and agree with him. Okay, so with this, let us start. I think what I want to share today is more about more what the students can do. Okay, and what is the overall relevance of computational sustainability for them, because this is the generation who will be coming by 2024, 23, 25. In different years they will be coming in the industry, and they will be the people who will be making the change, and especially with Web 3.0 coming in the future. Okay, but before we start, let us see this picture. Okay, I think all of you can see this beautiful picture, and the fishes and the Great Barrier Reef of Australia. Okay, we have all seen this. Okay, somewhere. Okay. But the truth, as we all know, is that no matter how beautiful the nature is, it is also very fragile. And what we as man, okay, as the Homo sapiens, okay, what we have done to the entire world, entire nature is pretty disastrous. Okay? And it, of course, it started with the industrial revolution, 1850s. Okay, and today I think somewhere one of the speaker was also talking about supply chain 4.0. So you will keep on hearing this term 4.0 in various paradigms. Okay, so we are today in the information age has went by, the internet age came. Now even the internet age is is a thing of the past. So in the last 100 150 years we have done so much damage, and I think at one point of time we realized that yes, it is a time where we should talk about things like sustainability. And with technology being so powerful, okay, technology has just immense potential to create or destroy. So we realize that yes, technology can be one of the key catalyst which can help us go back to the pre-industrial time, or at least control the damage what has been already done. So when we talk about computational sustainability or in sustainability in general, of course everyone looks to the scientists. Things like these words what I could think about, the energy, environment, nature, all of these terms are thrown, okay, which is good, okay, which is not wrong, okay. So everyone is working towards it. So let us see how it started, okay. And I'm not really sure that this conference has been going from yesterday, it will end today. If anyone has already talked about this, but one of the former Norwegian PM, okay, she was chairing the WCED, and when she was the chair of this World Commission of Environment and Development, under her leadership, this report, Our Common Future, was published. Okay, so there are many organizations, many bodies. Okay, but what was so important, or what was so critical about this report was that it, for the first time, at a world stage, someone started a notion about sustainability. Someone talked about sustainable development. Okay, and after this report was published in the coming year in the 90s, a lot of companies, a lot of NGOs, a lot of government initiatives started talking about sustainability in general. Okay, so let us see one video. Okay, it's a very small video. Let me know if the audio is not there. I will just pause.
If you're sitting at a computer or using your phone to watch this, you're enjoying the finished product of decades of work in computer science, all with the goal to give you access to the information you want when you want it. Much of this computational brain power has been used to build highly profitable enterprises. These tech behemoths have permeated modern society, dramatically changing how we move through our lives. But what if some chunk of that brain power was put into something else? What if it was put into solving the most complex and pressing problems of our time? Problems like poverty, disaster relief, climate change, biodiversity loss, environmental collapse. It turns out this is happening, and it's picking up steam in a new field called computational sustainability, first coined by Carla Gomes at Cornell University. Computer scientists put their muscle toward making the world a more sustainable, livable place. A network called CompSusNet is supercharging progress in computational sustainability by bringing together computer scientists across the world. The goal is to create a mix that allows them to feed off of each other's ideas. These scientists work on projects that might not seem all that related at first. Projects like poverty eradication, biodiversity conservation, and new renewable energy sources, but they use similar computational methods to tackle the core of each problem. For example, using satellite imagery and machine learning to map where poor communities are so they can be better supported, particularly in countries where census data is non-existent. Or combining environmental data with volumes of information collected by volunteer birders, which gives scientists an incredibly detailed look at what habitats are preferred by different bird species, so the most critical places can be protected. Or even using computational techniques to speed up the discovery and testing of new sustainable energy sources. And the list is growing as more computer scientists join in. What makes computational sustainability so powerful and wide-ranging is that a new method, created to solve one problem, can be repurposed for another, totally different problem. The problems may seem completely unrelated, but the solutions pull from the same computational approach. And the beauty of it all is that while computational thinking is moving sustainability forward, sustainability is moving computational thinking forward by presenting new challenges that, in turn, lead to the creation of new methods of computing. Methods that didn't exist until scientists realized they were needed to make our world run a little more sustainably. If you're interested in learning more about it and maybe jumping in, check out these websites.
So, yeah. So the reason I included this video is basically, this particular screenshot, which I also took from the video. Okay, that there are so many different kinds of problems, and in the first order thinking they might seem unrelated, but a single technology has the potential to target different challenges or different areas. And the key line, of this video, what I take away is that though the technology has, brought us here, okay, there are certain problems which have been created, but the same technology will actually, help us solve those things. Okay, so let us see that how. Okay, how. And though there are various ways, okay, what the two speakers shared before I came. Uh, what I feel is the most powerful or will be the defining trend, technology trend, and the business trend of this decade will be Web 3.0. Okay. Now, Web 3.0, I think everyone has heard about this term. Okay, we all have, the students especially, they must have seen YouTube videos or academic literature around what Web 3.0 is. In fact, most of you must be already studying it, maybe in your college as part of your academic curriculum. Okay, but yeah, in short, Web 1.0 was a basic browser I can read. Web 2.0 was I can read and write. And now with Web 3.0, the concept of ownership, the concept and the true power of AI will be created. Okay. But now whenever anyone talks about Web 3.0, there are already so many concerns. Okay, there are already so many concerns that no, see, Web 2.0 was already so bad. There are so many harmful effects which have happened, and already people are talking about that Bitcoin is so much energy consuming. It every single calculation on the Bitcoin, it takes so much energy. There are thousands of servers and graphic cards which are in use. Okay, but let us see. Okay, on how the things happened between 2010 to 2020. Okay, and we are talking about the data center loads, especially the cloud data servers. Okay, everything moved from centralized to decentralized, cloud, multi-cloud, and all those things. Okay, so internet traffic became 17 times. The data center workloads grew by 10 times almost, and this data is still old. Okay, this is 2020. Okay, what it is visible on the right hand side. Okay, but if you see the data center energy use, it has just grown by 10 to 15%. Okay, the almost flat line towards the bottom. Okay, the data center use. Okay, this has happened because there are scientists, there are researchers, there are professionals who are working to make things sustainable. Okay, sustainability, first of all, I just want to say, is not something which is a thing of the future. Okay, it is already there in the industry. People are trying, if not their level best, almost there, I would say. Okay, it's almost there. The thing is that it will accelerate only in this particular decade and in the coming future. Okay, so let us look at this one example. I'm sure maybe some of you must have seen this movie. Okay, so the movie is about Africa. In one of the countries in Africa. Okay, it has been a long time since I saw this. So somewhere in Africa, there is one country, and there are lots of diamond mines in Africa. Everyone knows that. Okay, and the concept is that these diamonds are sourced, they are extracted with the help of slavery, okay, and hence the name blood diamond, that there is blood on the diamonds, which we wear or we gift it to someone, okay. After this movie was released, there was a certain movement kind of thing that people became conscious, okay, and in general also, we as consumers, we are becoming more and more conscious that what I wear, what I have, what I'm buying, is it ethically sourced, okay, is it uh, you know was it made by killing someone, or was a child working in a in some factory in some poor country, okay. So these questions are coming up, okay. Now, till date, if I have to find out, okay, even on Mintra app, if you go today, you will find that there is a checkbox now. Okay, recently, I think it was introduced, that is it sustainable? Okay, so I can check as of today, and but how do I know? Okay, how do I know if it was sustainable or not? Okay, so for me, I think blockchain is the first technical trend, which will solve this problem. Okay, so when it comes to ethical sourcing or sustainable sourcing, blockchain, with the help of its ledgers, its cryptography, its tokenization mechanisms, and creating value through incentivization to the users. Okay, the entire value chain, the entire supply chain can be completely digitized and completely verified, without any extra effort. So the blockchain has that power. Okay. There are some of the use cases which have been so phenomenal in blockchain, uh, and I think if you take up any industry, I think almost every industry will be going to be impacted. Like 1990s or 2000s was the age where internet or simple website affected every company. I think in 2025, after 2025, probably it is going to be like really huge. Okay, so if you are students in one of those areas, or then I think it's a really exciting field. Okay, but yeah, coming back to this example. Okay, so this is my carbon. It's again a blockchain based carbon credit trading platform. It is available on a public ledger. Okay, I would say that students, especially, you Google about it. Okay, very interesting use case, that I can see that how a company or how a person is doing on his or her carbon footprint. Okay, and as the consciousness of the consumer, and as we as citizens become conscious that what is happening around us, okay, we can actually give carbon credits to that person, that user, that okay, you are doing good, okay, you take this, and there is some incentive attached to it. Okay, another great example is many of you must have heard about Paris Agreement. Okay, so a lot of countries went there, foreign ministers went there. They promised that they will, reduce the carbon emissions, etc. Okay. So what Chile has done is they have partnered with some of the organizations who know blockchain, and through blockchain and the use of smart contracts, they have, and IoT. Okay, so if you think about it, it's not just one technology, it will never work like that. Okay, so IoT and blockchain, they have completed the end-to-end waste to energy tracking. Okay, so if I am throwing something outside my home, okay, or whenever in the morning, I mean, Indore is a cleaner city, but when anyone comes, so I can completely track that, how that what was the carbon footprint of the user, or any industry, and I can completely digitize it. Okay, so that was the first technical trend. Okay, now I would like to shift towards a business trend, which has emerged in the last 3 or 4 years, and people who are from the field of finance would have definitely heard about it. It's called ESG, environmental, social, and governance. Okay, so today, if I have to measure any company, that how they are doing on sustainability, or how they are doing, as a conscious organization. Okay, do they care about the earth? Do they care about uh, you know uh, greenhouse effects? Okay, do they worry about the climate change? So this is the model which has been, which is popular, and which is right now used across the world. There are so many ESG mutual funds also. Okay, why? Because now as a consumer, okay, or as a investor, I am, conscious that I want to invest in those companies which are scoring good on the ESG part. Okay, so this is, a key business trend, and though this has only started, it has not yet been standardized so much. This will be, one of the key trend where, a lot of people will actually like to buy, stocks, or buy, trust on those companies, okay, which are doing good on the ESG part. Okay, ESG movement has already moved a lot of organizations. Okay, so simple two examples here. In Canada, the pension fund companies, okay, like in India we have LIC and HDFC pension fund, etc. So in Canada, 9 of the biggest pension funds, they just have revamped and retrofitted their buildings, okay, where their offices are, so that their offices are sustainable. Okay. Now in India, at least as of now, we have not heard of something like that. Okay, another example from India. Now it's Hindustan Unilever. So HUL has been working on ethical sourcing and sustainable sourcing most of all, so that their products which we use in our homes, they are certified that they are doing good, and their ESG scores are also good. Okay, so this is only the starting on the business trend part. Now, probably the most talked term since Facebook renamed their company to Meta has been the explosion, okay, of metaverse, okay, and its subset digital twin. Okay, I would again say, digital twin uh, started earlier before metaverse, and digital twins conceptually they have been existing in factories, say, I would say for almost 30 years, okay, technically. But yes, the advancement in computing and especially powered by cloud, that has really accelerated the adoption of digital twin. Okay, so what metaverse is? Okay, no definitions as of now. Everyone has their own definition. Okay, it's a virtual world where it's a AR or VR powered. It can be anything. Okay, I mean, it's based on what how you want to see metaverse as. Okay, but if you think about it, okay, how does it relate to sustainable? Okay, or how does it relate to computational sustainability? Okay? Let's say I'm working on a power plant, and on the right hand side you see this turbine. Okay, many of you must have also seen automobile industry, okay, where they create a model in 3D in AutoCAD or in softwares like these, and they are able to simulate the streamline the airflow of that car in that computer model. Okay, so that was still for a particular model, or a turbine, before I start making a hydroelectric power project. What if I can simulate a whole city? Okay, that if for example, if a flyover is made, how much traffic will pass from there? Okay, I can combine the power of AI and ML and predictive analytics. Okay, and really understand that, okay, how it will actually function, so that I can decide better. I can decide that, okay, how to construct that, or maybe is it even the right place to construct that flyover? Okay, so in this regard, okay, I would say that Indore is also towards becoming a smart city, right? Metro is coming up, and there are so many things also planned in Indore already. Okay, so how will Indore become a smart city? Okay, so there are various ways. Okay, so there is this one small video, one more video which I would like to show to all of you. Okay, and just see what TCS has to offer here. Okay. Okay, so TCS IUX is, one of the many solutions, and I mean, not only TCS, many organizations are working on, their own different take. They have their own take. But yeah, what IUX offers is, IoT, analytics, AI, everything combined in one model, which can, make something as a digital twin. Okay, try to simulate it, and, offer, what can be done in a better way. So yeah, apart from this, I mean, there are things which are going on in the industry. Okay, again, not just from the point of TCS. Okay, but just some of the examples which I wanted to share with all of you. Okay, so that so that was the second technical trend I really wanted to talk about. Okay, metaverse and digital twin. Okay, now especially when I looked at the topic, and when anyone of us talks about computational sustainability, one thought which generally comes out in anyone's mind is that, okay, everyone is talking about AI, ML, everyone is talking about blockchain. So is it only related to computer or IT? Okay, what about what about other students? Okay, what about other branches? Okay, so computation is not actually about computer or IT. Actually, computation, I mean, that literal definition, I also took this screenshot from Google, is methods of computation. Okay, and computation can be done, which is calculation. Okay, action of mathematical calculation. So it can be done anywhere. Okay, it can be done in any industry. Okay, and I mean, computer came much later, 60, 70. Okay, chemistry, physics, everyone is calculating, doing the mathematical calculation. Okay, so it is not only about computer IT. Okay, I just want to say, mention this point as well. Okay, that be it agriculture. Okay, everyone is talking about sustainable farming. Everyone is talking about electronic vehicles. Everyone is talking about IoT. Everyone is talking about 5G or 6G. Okay, so be it any field, be it technical and even the non-technical field, the arts people, okay, they are so important. They will be very important in in realizing this dream. The geography, archaeology, bird watchers, okay, public policy makers will be extremely crucial. Okay, so no matter in which field you are, okay, if you are conscious from that point of view that yes, we all need to, this thing to happen. Okay, we all want the earth to be good. Okay, we need everyone. Okay, so that is thing. Okay, but one thing is that, okay, all this is what I'm sharing, or what anyone shared is from the it's so much about the industry. Okay, what can I do? Okay, how do subjects which I study, so you pick up, if you see this diagram, and if you pick up any particular point. Okay, if you, for example, let's say you pick bird conservation, you will see that there are 4 5 lines passing through. And what these lines are, they are nothing but so different areas, different technology, different subjects which you are studying. Okay, you all studied data structures, you all studied graphics, you all studied thermal engineering. Okay, so everything will eventually converge, and they will actually try to solve these problems. And if you see, one problem will be not solved by any just one technology. Okay, so people from different areas, you will need to come together and solve that problem. Okay, and that is why it is very important that you realize that where do you start. Okay, so if we say that, okay, everyone wants a green world and everything, okay, sustainable, you can start today. Okay, you can start learning about better. Okay, you can start focusing more about on whatever you are doing. Okay, not just your subject, but any other field also, if you explore. Okay, you learn about probability, you learn about IoT, you can learn more about better ways of coding. Okay, how can I do something in one variable rather than using 3 variables in my program. Okay, that would be a sustainable program, right? That would need less energy. Okay, you can learn about the new communication, electronics, instrumentation guys can learn more about that. Okay, if someone is from mechanical or automobile engineering, you can learn about the EV, the next generation of charging stations are coming in. Okay, so there are things which you can. Okay, so it is not something which is out of your bounds, or something you will learn or gain only after you pass out. Okay, you can start today. And with this message, I would just like to end. And thanks a lot to 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 the entire faculty, and thanks for inviting me here. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thanks for enlightening us about how technology can be helpful in the sustainable growth of clean and green India. Thank you very much once again. Moving ahead, now may I request our chairperson, Dr. T.K. Mandal, sir, to give concluding remark for the session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Raksha. And it's my privilege to give the concluding remarks after a fantastic session, plenary session, wherein we had three very eminent speakers, and I would say they have indeed created a star among the minds of the audience. There have been quite a few takeaways in terms of knowledge and understanding, and more so as far as awareness is concerned on sustainable computing from what the three eminent speakers have said. I'll start with in the reverse order. First, it is Chinmay Dave. Mr. Dave picked up, incidentally, all three speakers spoke on three different things, a wide array of aspects on the theme, and so Dave's focus was on Wave 3.0, which is said as fundamentally AI-driven services, moving away from 1.0 to 2.0 and finally 3.0. He mentioned about Eco2 public ledger, wherein blockchain-based carbon credit trading platform has been created, and this has been very interesting because and alongside this, he also focused on, or he imparted knowledge on something called ESG scoring. Okay, we know, some of us know what is ESG, environmental, social, and governance. Now, this scoring part by Wave 3.0 would be something very interesting, because I was just going through some of the old statistics on sustainability index, and perhaps there can be a switch, or there can be a shift from the conventional sustainability index to ESG scoring for individual entities attempting to achieve the 17 SDGs. Mr. Dave also gave us a nice overview of what TCS is offering in terms of solutions through its IUX. Yes, one thing which really worked as an eye-opener, most of us would have been thinking that computational sustainability or sustainable computing is concerned with only IT and computers. However, he made it amply clear, and I think in the most crisp way, that it is not all about computer and IT alone. In fact, all kinds of disciplines, and as he mentioned, I try to repeat his words, right from arts, geography, mechanical engineering, plant operation, agriculture, entomology and whatnot, everywhere computing is involved. So therefore, when we talk about computational sustainability, it covers all fields of our day-to-day life. We had Mr. Venkat Satish, and I think Venkat has given very nice insights, starting with what is sustainable computing. But what made me more interested was the aspect of, although it's not new, aspect of cyber security and cyber crimes using cloud computing. Venkat had said that cloud computing actually is a form of sustainable computing, and how fraudsters, cyber fraudsters are using cloud computing so effectively and taking us for a ride. Venkat also spoke about different types of cyber crimes starting with cyberjacking, DDoS, phishing, spear phishing attacks, then shared tech problems, etc., ransomware, and so on and so forth. And in each of these, how cyber computing is being used or misused or abused. Yes, he mentioned about the cyber security awareness, and its awareness, which is which is very important, and it's not the first time that we are hearing it. But what really made me ask myself again is what is the use of all these developments if they don't give us a protected and secured life? Weren't the good old days wherein we had our information secured on the lock and key, physical lock and key, and we had a good night's sleep, rather than what we're facing now. Every now and then we are fear. I was frightened to hear that even in cloud, how things can be hijacked. We think that we store something in cloud, so we're safe. And he opened our eyes again, once again, saying that it is not so. We need to take ample care. Anay Pathak began the plenary session with 7 Ds of the new decade, and he focused mainly on the current decade going up to 2030, wherein he gave a lot of insights on various aspects, the various developments that, as per him, are going to take place, and I fully agree with him. He spoke very briefly about Industry 4.0, which is concerned with Internet of Things and cyber physical systems, etc. The technological disruptions that are going to take place, that are still going to take place. In fact, many of us thought that technological disruptions have already taken place to a large scale, but then he again shook us up and said there is nothing, than the kind of disruptions that we're going to show in the coming 8-9 years or 7-8 years is going to be humongous. One thing which was very important for all of us to note is, yes, the partnership between human and machine is going to be much more stronger, and perhaps some amount of I would not say emotional, but then intelligence would also creep in this partnership by the time we reach 2030. And with all this in the background, he focused on the different landscape that we're going to face by 2030 in terms of the requirements in jobs and the skills, for which he advised all of us to be ready and to be prepared. I'm not going into those details. Overall, I think the entire session has been extremely enlightening and eye-opening. I think all 3 speakers made justice more than what I personally had expected, and I'm fully contented with what I've heard from all 3 speakers. My sincere thanks to Anay, Venkat, and Chinmay for what they delivered today. Thank you so much. Over to Raksha.
Thank you very much, sir. Gratitude is attitude. With these words, I express my sincere thanks to Honorable VC Dr. Upinder Dhar sir, Chairperson of the AVDHARAN 2022, Dr. Anand Rajawat sir, Convener of the AVDHARAN, Dr. Jigyasu Dubey sir, Co-Convener of the AVDHARAN, Dr. Abhishek Rathod sir and Mr. Vijay Prakash sir. I also extend my gratitude to Mr. Anay Pathak, Advisory Consultant, CTO Ambassador, Dell Technologies, for his thought-provoking words. I am also grateful to Mr. Venkata Satish Gutullaji, Director Security at Rediff.com India Limited, Mumbai, for sharing his knowledge with us. My sincere thanks to Mr. Chinmay Dave sir, Head, Mobile Center of Excellence, TCS, for his thought-provoking words. I also express my gratitude to our chairperson, Dr. Santosh Dhar Madam and Dr. T.K. Mandal sir, for spending their valuable time with us. At last, thanks to everyone who is associated in this conference and virtually present with us. Very soon, we are going to start our technical session at 1 p.m. You all are requested to join the session. Link has already been given in the chat box. Have a great day ahead. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you to all.
Can you leave?